Hello Gemma.
Hi.
I'm Baroness Sue Campbell and I am the Chair of the Youth Sport Trust, and I've just recently been appointed Head of Women's Football for the FA.
Brilliant. So, what 5 words would you say sum up your role?
My role here as Chair,
Yeah, with IST.
fundraiser, working with corporates and other people to try and find the money to do the job we want to do. Politician, and I don't mean that in an elected politician way, but learning to work with government and politicians to make sure that the strategy that affects PE in school sport is good and as good as we can make it. Coach, not coaching in the traditional sense, but I coach in a structural sense, so I'm constantly coaching the team here, trying to get the best out of everybody, creating a positive environment like any coach would do. So I see this as a team, just as any other team would be. So I've learned all my management skills are actually coaching skills. I think I'd like to say that another couple of words would be communicator. So I'm often on platforms, talking at conferences, advocating the mission. So I've got to be able to talk both to big audiences and at times to very small groups so that I can get over my passion and my love for what I'm doing. And the 5th one would be passionate. I'm incredibly committed to what I do and always have been and probably always will be.
And what is your underlying passion?
Well, my underlying passion sort of grew in 2 ways. One, as a child I played lots of sport and I loved it. And sport was a fantastic part of my life, and I wasn't great at school, I didn't really concentrate very well, and sport was the place where I got lots of positive feedback, felt good about who I was, went on to be a PE teacher. But really, when I first went to teach, and I went to teach in Moss Side, Manchester, tough school at the time, I think it was one of the most deprived wards in the country. Those young people taught me something very special that stayed with me for a long time, and that was that used in the right way, sport can change lives. I hadn't realised it had changed mine in some ways, I'd just been a sporty person. But when I started to work with people who were not sporty, and I realised by helping them and developing their self-esteem and self-worth through activity, and it included dance and all sorts of other things, I saw them grow in confidence as young people, confidence as learners. So my passion comes from a really strong belief that sport can change lives.
I believe in that too. What encouraged you to take up a career in sport? Like from the start, what made you think, I want to be a PE teacher, that's the route I want to go down?
Some would say because I wasn't going to be able to do anything else. But I think I had a very good PE teacher myself. I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And she at the point in my school where I was bordering really falling off the rails, she explained to me that if I worked and got this sort of grades and this sort of thing, and I could become a PE teacher. And I never looked back really. I went on to be a PE teacher, and from there my career has just kind of tumbleweeded along. I haven't really had a plan A that I was going to go here or go there. I've just done every job the best I can do it.
So through your role, you have become an inspiration to many young people and men and women. But for you, who was your role model? Who inspired you to keep going, or who still inspires you today to do what you do?
Well, I suppose my first and probably the most long living in my life was my father. My father loved sport, but he was a brilliant philosopher. I don't mean by that he'd read every book under the sun, he couldn't read that well, but he was a very natural philosopher about life, and one of the things he did very early on in our lives was he would always tell us stories. And people now say to me that when I communicate I always do it through stories, and I do it, I guess I learned that very early communication style, passion for life, common sense philosophy I learned from him. And he remains with me. I mean, there are times when I'm doing things and I can almost remember one of his stories just before I go up, or I remember a couple of words he said to me. So he's kind of remained with me all the way through. And then I've been really blessed, you know, pretty well in every job I've done. I've had a mentor and someone who's just kind of taken care of me as I'm learning and accepted me, even though at times I was probably quite hard to accept because I was pretty stubborn, but worked with me to support me. And I think we all need that, whatever we're doing, we need a mentor. And it's not a friend, it's somebody who isn't afraid to tell you the bad bits as well as the good bits. That's what makes a mentor great.
Yeah. What advice would you give to a young person who is unsure about taking up a career in sport?
I'd say if you enjoy sport, if it's something you feel passionate about, there's no greater place to work. It's fantastic. You know, people ask me, I've been working in this industry now for 47 years, and I'm as enthusiastic today as I've ever been. And part of that is it doesn't feel like work to me. You know, it's a passion. It's something I care about. It's something I want to make a difference doing. And I'd say to young people, that's what makes work worthwhile. It's got to be something you feel passionate about, something you care about, and something you want to get up every day excited to do.
Brilliant. And in your career, have you faced any hurdles? And with that, how did you overcome them?
That would take me about 4 days to tell you all those. I've met lots of them. Some of them very real, and some of them really quite difficult to manage. But it's an interesting thing, and it goes back to the dad thing a bit. The one thing that I got from my father was a strong sense of who I was. So when I've met those difficulties, and everybody has them in life, and it's not unusual, and if you have strong values and you're trying to change things and you want things to be better and you're passionate about it, you do upset people. And people put hurdles, barriers, all sorts of things, obstacles in your way. And the worst thing you can do is run and bang your head on the hurdle, right? You have to kind of step back from the hurdle, you have to look at it, and you have to decide, is there a way of getting over this? A way of getting around this? A way of going under this? Or do I take it on? Do I look it in the eye and take it on? And I think you have to, whenever you meet an obstacle to anything you're doing in life, the big trick is to step back for a minute and ask yourself, you know, is this a war or a skirmish? You know, is this just something I can let go? Is this something I really need to take on and battle with? Or is there another way to get what I want done? So I've met many hurdles. Some of them have thrown me back on the seat of my pants, literally. But I once read an expression that said, it doesn't matter if you get knocked down 7 times in life as long as you get up 8. And we all get knocked down, and you have to learn to dust yourself off and stand up and go again. And I think every setback, every time I've been thrown on my backside, I've learned something. It's a lesson. You know, I don't believe you fail at things. I believe everything in life is a series of learnings. And sometimes when you get thrown back and it feels like it's everybody else's fault, you need to just take time and just ask yourself, what do I learn from this? What do I get from this? In order when you get up, you feel ready to take on the next challenge.
So do you feel these hurdles have made you more determined and more motivated as a person to keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I think I've never seen anything as the enemy. I don't think that way, and I don't hang on to grudges and resentful. I mean, I'm lucky in that sense. That's just my personality. I don't that stuff doesn't linger with me. But I think when you meet a hurdle, what it helps you really get clear in your own mind is how much you care about this. So it crystallises what's actually already in you, but it sharpens it. It makes it even stronger in you. So that makes you more determined, because actually it's sharpening why you're taking that hurdle or that obstacle on. You know, so when I've taken on government and ministers who just don't get me and don't agree with me, I have to ask, you know, am I doing this for the cause? Am I doing this for the right reason? Am I doing it because I'm stubborn and I want to win the argument? And that's really different. And I think once you know why you're arguing, once you know what you're fighting for, then nothing gets in your way. You just have to find a way around whatever the obstacle is.
We're very aware that there's a massive dropout of female participation in sport going into secondary. What would you say is the main barrier for girls' participation in sport going into secondary school particularly?
Well, it's very complex, isn't it? I think, I mean, we know a lot of the reasons, you know, the clothes we wear in sport suddenly don't feel feminine enough and attractive enough, the showers smell, my body's changing shape and I feel uncomfortable. You know, there's a whole set of reasons that are working on somebody's psyche that says, I'm girl and this is not for me. And I think for those of us who are involved in providing sport, we've got to be more creative and more imaginative about how we present sport to girls. Not assume that we can just keep persuading them to do what it is we love doing. And that's the danger, you know, we love netball, so we think somehow we're going to persuade them all to do it. And that's what the kids of Manchester taught me. You know, did I know anything about jazz dance? No. But that's what they wanted to do, and I had to kind of learn to enable them to develop that and to grow that, and they became brilliant at it. And this was a group of young women that were never going to play netball, but through that, they grew as people and they developed. So I think we've got to be more creative, and we've got to help girls understand why. Why does it matter? Why do we want you to be active? Not just because we want more netball teams and hockey. We want you to be active because actually you'll do better in life. We've not done enough to help girls understand being active, being physically well, emotionally well, means you'll do better in life. You'll do better in school, you'll do better in life, you'll do better as a person. And I can't believe if girls understood that, they'd say, I don't want to do this. It's because they think what we're trying to make them do is sport. But actually what we're trying to help them do is live a healthy, active lifestyle. And I think for many girls, if they understood that, you'd break those barriers down.
They'd be a lot more keen to take part in sport.
I think they would, if they realised it helps them be more successful in life.
Yeah, academically as well.
Absolutely.
What's been the highlight of your career so far? I'm sure there's many, but what's been the...
Well, I think I could think of I could go all the way back to Woolley Range, but I think the moment where my worlds collided, my passion for youth sport and my intellectual intrigue with high performance sport, was at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. I'm sitting there as chair of UK sport. You know, I've led an amazingly good team at UK sport to prepare the Olympic and Paralympic teams for this great moment on home soil. Nothing more we can do. We're now sitting at the opening ceremony, and you'll remember that the torch relay was finished by 6 young people who lit there. I think that was my greatest moment of the collision of my worlds and a kind of strong sense that we put young people at the centre of our thinking. And yet this was the greatest moment. And it would have been so easy to have some iconic figure like the Flame, but we didn't. We chose to put young people at the heart of this very ambitious and brilliant piece of sporting history.
And final question to finish off. What is your main goal that you want to achieve through your work? What is the end result that you want to see?
I want to see young people be successful in life. And the tool I understand, the vehicle that I've grown up with and understand, my insight is around using physical activity, PE, sport, to help people realise their potential. And whilst, yes, of course, I want kids who have the ambition, the desire and the potential to be world champions to go on and do that. But I'm equally interested in the kid who, in a sense, wants to travel through sport, but through that journey comes out as a better person and comes out to go on and do great things in life. So that still is what my passion is, and every day, you know, it's a battle to find the resource, it's a battle to find the politicians, it's a battle to get the job done, but it's a battle that's worth winning.
Brilliant, thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.